Hey guys, what is going on? Back here for another game review, and man, I gotta tell you all, I'm really excited to talk about this one. For today's review, I'm gonna be talking about Psychonauts 2, the sequel to 2005 Psychonauts. Before I continue, I must confess, I haven't beaten the original game, but I did play a little bit of it before diving into 2 to get an idea of what the game is about. The main reason why I was excited for this game was because it's from Double Fine, the same developer behind Brutal Legend, one of my favorite games from the 2000s that doesn't get nearly enough love. Still waiting on a sequel to that, by the way. From the art style and the humor from the trailer, I was very excited to see how the sequel would deliver. Also, before I continue, the gameplay you're seeing is captured from an Xbox Series X. So, what did I think of Psychonauts 2? I absolutely loved Psychonauts 2. Getting into the plot. In Psychonauts 2, we follow Raz, aka Rasputin, a young acrobat that is trained to become a psychonaut. After the events of the first game and the VR game, the psychonauts try to learn who is really behind the kidnapping of their leader and unveiling a deep mystery surrounding the organization's founding and Raz's family history. That's the basic gist of the summary of this game, and I want to leave it right there, because if I say any more than that, I feel like it'll be at risk of spoiling the surprises of the game. So, getting into everything that I loved about Psychonauts 2. Starting with the story, something that I know a lot of people will ask. Do I need to play the original and the VR game to understand what's going on in the second? As a person who didn't beat the first game, but did complete the second, I can confirm that it's not completely necessary. I've heard that it does help, but 2 has a great introduction video getting you up to speed, and that's something that I really appreciate about this game. Double Fine did a great job of making this game accessible to those who have not played the first game, but let me tell you all, the story of Psychonauts 2 is insane. Even as a person that hasn't beaten the original game, I got sucked into the story within the first few minutes. How the plot progresses and certain things you find out, there's plenty of surprises and twists within this game that will not spoil for you all. And the surprises had me going, no freaking way, quite a few times. I also loved the characters. I grew to love all of them. And the voice acting is terrific too. By the way, speaking of that, there's 2 actors in this game that after I looked up more information, it blew my mind that these 2 voices, well, these 2 actors I should say, were in this game. The characters are all a bunch of oddballs that I became attached to, and they all have great personalities. Another thing that I loved about Psychonauts 2 was the overall look of the game. The art direction, color palette, character designs, and the world, or worlds I should say. The best way I describe the look of this game is that it's as if Tim Burton made a colorful and vibrant Saturday morning cartoon. I saw a couple of designs from the original, and Burton's visual style immediately popped in my head. Psychonauts 2 takes that look and improves it tenfold. What we have here is a game with colors that radiate. It really does feel like a Saturday morning cartoon. And the world, or worlds, one thing in particular that I absolutely loved was the variety of the worlds. I won't say too much about this, but no world looks exactly the same. The game is full of imagination, and when you traverse every character's, let's say, psyche, you get something completely different every single time. One of my favorite worlds in the game takes place about halfway through. Without giving it away, this particular world feels like you're stepping into a Beatles album, and man, it is a trip. The level designs feel so intricate, and you can tell that a lot of love and passion was put into each particular world. Another thing I loved was the gameplay. Psychonauts 2 at first seems like a simple platformer, but this is a simple platformer with depth. Way more depth than I was expecting, especially with the combat. How Raz is able to combine his abilities against certain enemy types is quite brilliant. The enemy types I'll get into in a little bit, but again, like with the platforming, the combat is simple, but with depth. Throughout the game, you'll acquire items to upgrade your abilities, whether it's using your telekinesis to hit an enemy harder, smash into the ground sword that it creates electricity, or using a mental connection to trap an enemy. And there's so much more to your abilities when it comes to modifying them. Once again, simple mechanics with terrific depth. Going into another thing that I loved about Psychonauts 2, the humor. Many, and I mean many times, this game caught me off guard, and some parts I laughed harder than I expected. There's jokes that not only kids and teens will laugh at, but there are jokes that I definitely believe adults will love. It's the kind of game where there's humor for everyone. Something that I absolutely loved about Psychonauts 2, and this caught me off guard, how Psychonauts 2 tackles mental health. From how it explores this in the story, the relationships with the characters, the humor, and even going down to the enemy types. This is a game that goes into some pretty deep stuff, but how it executes them is what's brilliant. How characters say they were alone originally, characters having second chances, regrets, panic attacks, and even down to depression, and there's more. I'm telling you guys, I was genuinely not expecting this game to be as deep as it was. And the best part, the game never treats mental health as a joke. They tackle it in a very smart and a very heartfelt way. There was genuinely a part that moved me. Double Fine, well done with this. One thing I do want to talk about is the music. Peter McConnell's music, to which, by the way, if I muffed up your name, I do apologize. His music for the game is whimsical. It has parts that will get your blood pumping, and there's parts that did give me goosebumps. Also, in terms of the runtime, I was able to complete Psychonauts 2 in around 18 hours. But I know I will easily put more time in. There were sections where I thought the game was coming to an end, but when I saw that I still had more to play, I was even more excited. As far as my issues go, the one thing I can say, and this is really reaching for something, there's a part that I feel may have worked better as a cutscene and not as gameplay, but this is such a minor gripe that it didn't detract from the overall experience. So overall, Psychonauts 2 is an absolutely delightful game that I loved from start to finish. From the story, characters, art direction, the simple yet in-depth gameplay, the humor, and how it tackles mental health, to put it simply, Psychonauts 2 is a brilliant game that I couldn't get enough of. Double Fine has created one amazing experience with this. All in all, I'm going to give Psychonauts 2 a 10 out of 10. Psychonauts 2 is a game that everyone should play, and best of all, it makes me want to go back to experience the original game and then play 2 once again. Just a terrific game. It's on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. So guys, please buy this game. It is worth every penny. So comment down below and let me know, what did you guys think of Psychonauts 2? Did you like the game or did you even dislike it? Let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat, so if y'all want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links in the usernames are in the description below. And that's going to wrap it up for my review of Psychonauts 2. I hope you all enjoyed it. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell for whenever the latest video of mine goes live. If you guys want to see any of my previous 2 videos, please click to the left or right side of the screen. And of course, until my next video or review, I'll see you all next time.
Oh, wait. This was a terrible idea. These poor kids don't know.